they're going to start making a strawberry frosted donut Oreo with glittery pink cream.
Ooh.
What's the glitter made out of?
Actual.
It appears to be edible glitter.
That exists. It's a thing. I know.
It is.
It doesn't come
Because
off.
the Lady Gaga Oreos weren't enough.
Wait, there's Lady Gaga Oreos?
There are Lady Gaga Oreos coming out.
Oh, I'm missing out. I had no idea.
Dude, aren't you glad you're recording all of this valuable content?
I know this is top tier. I'm sure we'll get to the top of Twitch and the YouTubes and the parlors soon.
And a shout out to
Don't
our
want that one.
sponsors.
Parlor.
Oreo cookies brought to you by.
If we get to the top of Parlor, we're doing something severely wrong.
If we get posted at all on Parlor, we're probably doing something wrong.
I don't know what
I mean, we
Parler
might
is.
get posted on Parlor for the thing that Scoot is about to announce at the beginning of this session.
Mm-hmm. So Parler
What is
is
the Parler?
Parler is right-wing Twitter, because Twitter started censoring people making like insane. The president primarily being like, he's saying disputed things. Like they've started he got to the point where it was so batshit crazy that they could not sideline themselves anymore.
Basically, Parler was created because of that the thing that happens in that XKCD comic, right? Which is free speech means that the government cannot arrest you for what you say. It doesn't mean anybody else has to listen to your bullshit or host you while you share it. Twitter said, no, we don't have to host you while you share this, and deplatformed them, which is very effective. Deplatform Nazis, also punch them. And then a bunch of right-wing folks created Parler so that they, couldn't be censored as much while they said crazy, shitty, conspiratorial, and or violent, inciting things.
I wondered because on TikTok someone was like, I read Parler, so you don't have to, or whatever. And I was like, what?
There's a Twitter account that specifically does that and shares both the most hilarious and the dumbest things on Parler.
Don't need it.
They were mad that the libs were in an echo chamber, so they constructed an echo chamber for themselves. As you do. But I think even before the clap, I'm just going to get this out of there for our dear listeners, since we're going to probably keep most of this in. I'd like to tell most folks welcome to Ryam, but in light of recent events, as of those on the 1st of January 6th in the year of our Lord 2020 in D.C.
It's 2021, technically.
2021. The year of our Lord 1/6/2021.
It only feels
December 37th,
like
2020, or
Yeah.
1
January 6th, 2021. That day we all know what happened. The shit at the Capitol. There are a lot of more people out there that are probably more deserving and know better than me to say this, but since this is my game and my table and my world, I will say it. If you out there, dear listener, think that anything that happened yesterday, the 6th, was anything but sedition and a bullshit attempt to stop the electoral process from going through after it has been verified by more fucking Supreme Courts at the state and federal level than it needs to be, this is not the show for you. Here, Black Lives Matter, trans people are people. That's a trans, right? Sex work matters and is work. And a number of other things that you are not going to like. So if you think that yesterday was the same thing, quote unquote, or just like what happened to the Black Lives Matter protesters in the summer, fuck off. You are not welcome in Ryam. And you can please see yourself out as you can merrily lick my dick. Now that being said, again, there are people who are far more fucking qualified than me to talk about the intricacies and nuance of what is happening right now, and I deserve a bigger platform than I have or will probably ever have. So again, if you think those things, you are free to say whatever you want. I can't stop you. But at my game, at my table, fuck off.
And please do let the door hit you on the way out.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
If I am, we punch white supremacists, merrily condemn fascists and dictators, and get in actual fights over defending sex workers. We've done that before. We've had several missions where we've defended sex workers.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't like that, if you think that shit's wrong, get out. You don't need to be here.
Off.
Fuck off.
No, we don't want you.
But for those of you that
Also,
are
like, if you don't think that's cool, like, why would you want to be here anyway? But if you are here just to piss yourself off, fuck off. And then keep fucking off.
yeah.
And then carry on fucking off beyond that.
Go fuck off a cliff.
Lemming style. Right, we should actually start the game now, shouldn't we?
Now, for those of you that aren't fucking degenerates, and
Well,
probably
I
have
mean-
some brain cells.
I mean,
A different type of degeneracy.
Everyone squints, looks
I'm a little bit
self-conscious.
of a degenerate. Specifically of the fucking variety.
right.
Hey.
For those of you that have taken an ethics class and passed it,
Fine.
welcome to where I am. You are welcomed here. But before we get into the game ourselves, which I've had a lot of fun planning on the past couple of days, we are going to once again allow our characters to introduce themselves, as well as their players. But I am the voice of your dungeon master, Scoot. I will now turn it over to our lovely gaffers. But this week, folks, the question is thus: please introduce yourself, and tell us what was your character's first great love, outside of like family or relations or things like that. And it can be any kind of love. It could be a love of knowledge, a love of a person, love of a thing. But take it away.
If nobody wants to go first, I actually do know this because it's something I was kind of kicking around for a little bit. So, I mean, we know Tessa is a Lauren. I'm Deb, by the way. I'm playing Tessa, the Tiefling Paladin. So she knows all the tenets of love, and there's all the basic things like family, friends, pets, her love of sword fighting. But I think the most relevant thing that I can mention for her is the time that she thought she fell in love when she was a teenager. And I say thought because she was young and she was more infatuated than anything else. But regardless, there was a guy who started hanging out with her a lot, and she really grew to like him. She thought it was mutual and confessed her feelings, but she misread the situation, and he actually didn't reciprocate and was actually talking to her to get info on one of her friends. So it was super awkward. They never talked again. So after that, she's never wanted to make any assumptions that someone was interested in her. And I think this is one of the things that really affected her moving forward. So it explains a little bit about why she is the way she is.
I'm to the side of Deb on my screen, so I'll go next. Hello, I'm Robert. I play Nikki, the human wizard. And her first love, the first thing that she really found herself passionate about at all was magic. So that worked out really nicely for her chosen career.
Mhm.
Next to me is Randall.
Oh, I was going down the list. Okay, Randall.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't bother me one way or another. So I'm Randall, and I play Kiki, the Kinku Tinkerer. So Kiki's only 15 years old, so she's a young adult by Kinku standards, but she doesn't have a lot of life experience. So really, her first great love is learning, because she was, I think, as I said in our very first session, she was going down the path of becoming yet another Kinku rogue, and her mentor took her in and taught her the ways of tinkering and fixing clocks and things, and she was suddenly like she could use a brain for more than just keeping a lookout for trouble and looking out, keeping a lookout for local gangs and stuff. So we'll see beyond that. I think, as I mentioned in another episode, I think she is probably drawn to intelligence in sentient beings, and that might be the way to her heart, but we'll see.
I mean, it's probably black powder. That's not going to help. That's not going to hinder anything.
That's true. Intelligence and explosives could both. If someone gave her like a heart-shaped box filled with little shrapnel and black powder, her heart might.
I'm now in my head, I hear the Ramin Djawadi version of Heart-Shaped Box by Nirvana playing as explosions go off around Kiki and her paramour.
Or someone could take her to a concert with the 1812 Overture where cannons are involved. I could see ways to her heart. I'm just saying.
Mostly explosions.
Hi, I'm Will. I play an ASMR warlock sorcerer, and some point in today's game, we might have to talk about what that character's name is a little bit in game. So we're not going to touch on it this second.
Okay.
But there's no other sorcerer or warlock. So if you see somebody Eldritch blasting, it's me. Oh my god, I hope nobody steals my move. I
Yeah, that patented Eldritch
say
Blast move
I
that
was-
you came up with and homebrewed.
Eldritch Blast TM. I was thinking about this very chronologically for me character name. In that obviously I'm super close with my dad, but angels don't know how to cook. So like he had a steep learning curve as a single dad when I was little. So we spent a lot of time eating out while he was getting his feet underneath him, which is fine. Like he's doing his best. Everybody cool it. But Roscoe definitely. Roscoe. All right. Right now my name is Roscoe. Fine. It's easier to tell the story. I definitely developed what felt like a love for a mother figure that wasn't there for what was essentially our regular waitress. I saw them as a provider. I saw them as like sneaking me cookies when dad wasn't looking. I definitely her name was Rala. We gave her a name in my mind, but Rala would have been the first person outside of my family that I felt love for.
That's sweet.
So before we move off, I am picturing Will's character's dad, like some sort of 3 Men and a Baby situation with him, like with a boiling pot, some pasta, and Roscoe just sitting there as like baby Will's character, just like staring at the three items, figuring out how they go together, even though he's like the baby's an infant and cannot eat pasta. Like this is not how this works.
Mm-mm. And he is a well and powerful being, even while in exile from his home realm, and is like so. Milk is milk a thing? Yeah,
and like him would just be like a pail of milk and looking at you and like wondering how to get it into you, like
handing it to me,
like in a big like beer stein.
Yeah. Yep, there's a lot of that.
I think I'm the only one remaining. I'm Kate. I play our half-dryad druid, Neva. Wait, half-dryad druid. There we go. Words are hard. Neva's first love that wasn't like her parents, which was interesting because like the way that it worked basically was like she was born and then immediately bonded with a tree because like that's how half-dryads grow. Like they can't survive away from a tree. And the tree was her own. The tree did not belong to her mother. And her mother would come and care for the tree, and by extension, Neva bonded to it, and her father would do the same. But Neva's first love was that tree, and so her first experience of love was kind of this mutually supportive connection where sustenance is provided, but dryads also, strengthen and kind of hearten a tree. Not in terms of like making it grow stronger, but also but more in terms of like improving its ability to interact with the world around of it and to communicate and connect with that which is around it. So it's this kind of not symbiotic, just like mutually supportive relationship in ways where one sustains the other without like a sense of codependence because it's a baby and babies can't be codependent. So that was her first real experience of love, and that's kind of what she thinks of as a way to express love. She's had a decent, like, she's no Eloran certainly, but she's had a decent exposure to like different ways that people can love each other and be in relationships with each other. For like example, her own parents' relationship is weird because one of them's a dryad and one of them's fae, so like they don't necessarily exist together all the time. They're definitely not married. One of them does port things. One of them lives in the forest. They're still together, and it still matters.
All right, thank you, everyone. So now we'll we'll pick up the game where we left off last week, which was everyone emerging from Bordeaux's and the Good Earth's vision as you all wake back up. You'd all recently woken back up, but we'll focus on Neva. It took you a little bit longer since you were able to linger more and see things and process a bit. And you look over, and Tessa is... So you see Tessa, you see Kiki, and you then see two other women that they look very familiar, but she seems to be explaining to them why their pants don't have pockets. And the two ladies seem sort of annoyed and shocked at this concept, as one of them, black shorter hair, is not even wearing pants, is in some sort of skirt, and it's just very much like, why did this happen? And the one white-haired, tanner-skinned one is constantly going over her pants, and there is just nothing. There is only pants. There is no pocket.
Look, it's just something you have to accept as a woman. I don't understand it either. I don't know. I mean,
one of the professors at Haven has proposed a conspiracy between the pants makers and the purse makers.
that makes total sense.
It's not implausible.
Bags
You
of
heard from the
holding.
deck, didn't you?
They're trying to sell more bags of holding, I bet.
Nikki just looks at the woman next to her. And then looks at Neva and just nods.
Are you okay with this outcome?
Yeah.
I mean, there's ways around it if you don't want to stay this way.
The pocket thing is kind of annoying, but other than that, yeah, it seems kind of interesting.
Yeah, I have a hobo bundle. I don't have a lot of stuff for pockets anyway. Yeah, this is okay. This
Okay.
is okay for now, at least.
If at
I'm
any
okay.
point it is not okay, let me know. We can. I'm not gonna say fix, because I don't find anything wrong with you at present. But
Altered.
change, adjust as needed.
Yeah, that's definitely
The whole
something
Lauren
more-
thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and Nikki would know there's a number of magics that do this even outside of the Aloran, religion. Like, their belts of gender changing is a very old
It's
trick in the book. It's just that
Yeah.
that it's usually not a permanent switch, so it's a temporary thing as long as you have the belt on. This seems to be more natural. So this is new.
Yeah.
This is a new thing.
Tessa does
Interesting.
explain that it can be made permanent, the switch, but you have to cast it every day. That's the caveat for a year.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, what's Kiki
There
thinking
was
about
a,
this?
What's Kiki think?
Yeah.
She'd probably turn her head to the side, and as long as her colleagues reintroduce themselves, she would honestly probably shrug. Like, she'd be fascinated by how it happened, but then she also drew cards and saw that strange things resulted from it. I think she's and Kiki doesn't wear pants, right? She's got like a big old,
Right.
she got a big old bird tail, like she's got a robe. Like,
Yeah, I guess
she's got
Kiki doesn't
all
wear
the
pants.
Robes with
No,
pockets.
Pocket
she's got robes
robes.
and pockets. She's like make your own. Like, Kiki's like DIY.
Make your own pockets, nerds.
I've literally sewn pockets into real pants because I got so frustrated.
Hell yeah.
Yep. But yeah. So I'm sorry, Nikki, you were saying something, and I interrupted you.
Just saying that Nikki is not particularly perturbed by this. I think I've mentioned before that there was a large Aloran sort of branch temple, if you will, at the university.
Yeah.
That did a lot of disease control, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also, the Badgers have a very large presence in Ventos, which is this sort of worldwide syndicate, and they are
Yeah.
they were some of the before the Aloran religion began growing again, they were some of the purveyors of
Prophylactics.
things like that.
So actually, a side bit, that's actually where Neri grew up, was so Tessa's aunt Neri grew up at the Badger's Den in Ventos doing specifically STD removal.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I bet she one of her proteges was the the nurse assigned to Nick's class.
It's a small world.
That's amazing.
So Thrax comes out, he wakes up and he's like, "Oh, okay, is everyone okay?" Huh. As he says, looking around at the group.
Nikki waves.
And he's like, hi, and he sort of pulls Tessa to the side. I'm on Ryam, right? This isn't some weird portal where alternate universe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say nothing weird happened, but did you see a magical deck of cards?
Yeah, I didn't fucking touch him though. That'd be stupid.
Oh.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
We all did.
No,
yeah, he
we all
looks
did.
to Neva like, did Neva do that?
Sorry, Neva did not.
No,
Okay.
Neva did not.
Neva's smart.
Because my brother used to tell me stories about guys falling into worlds where there was a bunch of women that all would profess love for them, but most of them would try to kill him, and I just want to make sure I'm not there.
I mean, I didn't change gender. I just got this super shield thing now.
Kiki
Can't
looks
get paper cuts anymore.
Kiki looks dead serious at him. She's like, not in love with you. No.
Okay. And he's like, thank you, Kiki. And there's a really, Kiki gets sense he's very relieved by that. Probably more than maybe custom should dictate, but he's like, okay, good. Because he has Kiki pegged for the tsundere, or the yandere that's going to kill him. So he's like,
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I do rather need to speak to some of the Spring Court officials quite promptly, but before I do that, do either of you wish to be addressed differently, name-wise?
Nick, I guess I should have been saying Nick so far, since this question hadn't come up yet, and Nick wouldn't have come up with something on the spot. Nick looks thoughtful for a bit, and in the camera I see Kate has just run off. So perhaps... And then he gets the sort of smile of someone, or she gets the sort of smile of someone who has come up with a terrible pun and is kind of pre-gloating before they say it.
Neva, being a teacher, knows that expression. Just what is it?
God
My
looks
name
down
could be
upon him.
Nicholas.
Ass?
Are you
No,
okay with
like last, Tessa. No, just call me Nikki.
Nikki? Right? Yes, we can do Nikki.
Somewhere in the world, there's a god of puns that is now awoken.
Yes,
No.
my
I'm surprised
patron.
you woken up earlier, to be honest with you.
That's true.
Scoot, I now want to make a character who is a warlock whose patron is the god of puns. That needs to happen.
Or cleric.
No, warlock would be so much better.
That's fair.
This is what happens. Read the DM and you make a random offshoot comment. Because now I'm going to have to deal with that.
You are.
Warlocks get magics from their patron puns.
Aw.
The warlock formerly known as Roscoe. How about you?
That's it right there.
There we go.
That's
Nailed
good.
it.
So, Rasco's sitting there, also looking thoughtful, but not in a bad way. Rasco can get a good brood on when he wants to. This is not brooding Rasco. This is just tabulating.
Processing.
Getting-
Processing.
Yeah, I'm just getting latitude and longitude squared in.
Buffering.
So
I will say that she does experience sweat in a new place.
That could be several different places.
I'll leave it up to your
She get under
interpretation.
boobs, but I'm thinking too hard.
I think I'm still Rasco.
Okay.
But if we're introducing ourselves to anybody, my dad doesn't actually have a last name. I just wanted a last name to kind of fit in with everybody. I'm also realizing that, like, oof, I said this in the character bio like 1,000 years ago, and now it's coming into play in a really weird way. So my dad's name is Barrack, and so I just picked Roscoe Barrackson.
Son of
But
Barrack.
I'm pretty sure my name's Roscoe Barrack's daughter now.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, that
All right.
tracks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fair enough.
And he's just like, she's just kind of like mouthing it over and over again, like it's a new word. Just
Stutter.
Barrack stutter.
Barrack
stutter. Roscoe Barrack stutter.
Gotta figure
So
out where
is
to which syllable gets the emphasis in there.
Mhm. Very important.
Is this our gender reveal episode? Because if you want an explosion, Kiki can totally help
We're
out.
not. We are
How
not.
much wildfire?
We are
How much
not burning
wildfire
down
do
the
you want
Feywilds, Kiki.
Can you make like an edible glitter bomb that I can bake into a cake?
that? She starts drawing like a sketch for this.
Drops
She's no
to her
fire.
knees in the dirt and just begins doing equations.
Fast forward to Fire Marshal of the
Crossroads.
Autumn Court
Wait,
going.
right.
We
have
had
important business to deal
a
with.
dry season.
Speaking of the Autumn Court, in fact, now is you folks seeing as this kind of adventure is breaking up a bit. Other courts have begun to arrive to see this oak business, and you see a very motley crew of what Neva would know as Fall Court. These are for Neva. I don't know how she feels about this, but these are her opposite court. There are three general motifs you're seeing. One are some fae that are very vibrant colors, like trees turning in the fall. They smell of like baked goods and harvest and very homey hearth fires. There are some that look like they just got out of a My Alchemical Love Affair concert. Like they're very mopey, sort of gothy. They're not doing anything, but they're just sort of very much keeping to themselves. They're writing poetry. One of them faints onto a couch that appears out of nowhere and then gets back up. And like
They're from Halloween Town, I see.
yeah. And then you have the last one, which are sort of gothic in nature, but they're moving. There's a very Addams Family vibe where they're not as sort of mopey as their kin. They very much are just embracing life for all it is worth. They often, every now and again, they're challenging. There's one gentleman who is just challenging people to sword fights, and some of the Spring Court take him up on it, and they fence around the courtyard for a bit, but very playfully. And it just this vim as he begins shouting at them about like their skill and where how great they are and how great this is. Neva, this is Goma, the ruler of Kern, the border town to the crossroads, the first fall settlement that it comes into contact with this area.
So, Neva is not a huge fan of the Fall Court generally, mostly because their philosophy towards mortals is... So the
Shit.
Spring Court's philosophy is basically like, this is new life that must be allowed to blossom and grow, as all things have the right to grow. The Fall Court feels differently. So, there are times when she allies with them, and things go just fine. She's gone on hunts with the Fall Court before, and there's been no issue. But as a general rule, their kind of guiding principles are drastically different. And so she is always a little bit wary of them, and what their plans and attitudes are.
Yep, the Spring Courts sow, the Fall Courts reap, and they
you,
are.
You can't tell any of this from her face. She's a good diplomat. She knows how to keep her face neutral, but she don't like him very much.
Yeah, there is, but folks can read a little bit from her body language. Well, she's not openly saying anything. There is more tension and standing on etiquette as she sees them, versus some of the other ones, as you see a few members of the spring courts arrive, as well as some of winter that are just pale shock white in comparison, very wintry coming through. And they, despite the fact that it's like only 65 degrees, they are complaining about how hot it is in the crossroads at this time of year. Like they are in like shorts because it is hot for them. It is at this point that the you folks are free to go about your day. Neva, you know that more diplomats will be arriving as you're moving in towards the end of the day now. It's probably like late afternoon.
Has
But
the summer court arrived yet?
some of the first of them have, but not all of them. This is sort of the tail end of the traveling of the day have come in. The spring court got here first because this is their matter. But these are the kind of the beginnings of the the primary courts have sent smaller courts to go see how this works out because they're very interested. But more will definitely arrive tomorrow morning. But
Okay.
I don't know if you folks want to fast forward to that or if you want to do anything else in town.
Nikki's gonna do just a little bit of shopping, get a couple of wardrobe options.
Mm.
I want some petticoats.
Sure. Do you take everyone else with you, or are you going by yourself? It seems like a solo trip.
If anyone wants to come shopping, you can come shop. I'm gonna go buy some petticoats.
I
I've
would
always kind of
definitely
wanted
go with
petticoats,
you.
honestly.
I will go with you to offer any tips and suggestions.
Excellent.
Yeah, you're noticing, Nick, that women's clothing has almost no rhyme or reason to the sizing. Like, men's clothing is pretty straightforward. Like, a large is a large, and, like, cuts are different, but, like...
It has actual measurements instead of a random number.
Yep, like, you pick up two dresses, like, just to look at them. They are both the same size. One is on the label. One is drastically smaller than the other, though.
So you have to try everything on. You have to find what fits you.
All right.
Montage.
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna get yes, montage. I'm gonna get a petticoat that is a little bit bigger than I need it to be, and I've got plans for the extra bits.
Are you...
So you're gonna like hide stuff underneath it, or
Pockets here.
More or less. I've got a plan, Tessa. I'll show you tonight.
okay? Because it just looks very impractical to me.
Are you folks doing that montage of, like, Nikki comes out of the dressing room and everyone shakes their head no, Kiki's probably
Yes,
tinkering
absolutely.
with an explosive. You know, after, like, 4 or 5 iterations, Nikki finally comes out and everyone's like, yes, and then Kiki, like, accidentally explodes part of the device. Not as nothing
Gets
big,
split
but
all
definitely-
over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This seems good. This seems good.
Shopping complete. Thrax does kind of stand behind all of you holding purses. You don't know where he got them, but he's holding them.
It's not ours.
No.
He just has them.
He's been there and other women have come and, like, given them to him.
You look like a trustworthy sort. Hold
Yeah.
this.
But you do head back to the house, and you spend the evening as you wish. But again, knowing that, Neva, you know that the courts will arrive early tomorrow morning. Like, sunrise, people will be coming into the town.
We'll be there.
Yep. So anything for tonight, folks, or...
Nothing in particular.
No, just before bed, I'm gonna do a little bit of spell casting and then take my petticoats over to Tessa and proudly brandish some petticoats, which I've altered a little bit, and used Fabricate to use the extra bit to make pockets on it.
Ah. How many pockets are in there?
3.
Nice.
And the idea is that I can wear it under my skirt, and it, like if it's not hanging correctly because if there's stuff in the pockets, the skirt can kind of cover the lumpy bits.
That's a good point. You could probably fit like a whole ham under there.
Nikki has not considered how to get to the pockets yet. That's a bridge that she'll cross in the future.
You have to reach down, like.
Yeah, you'd have to.
or like flop it up. She hasn't thought that far ahead, but
You
she's
know
very
what?
proud of her
In the
petticoat.
court of Morris Sports Stormbringer, that probably wouldn't raise that much of a to do. Other places it might, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you folks go to sleep. You find your, sleep comes once again. You awaken the next morning. Neva, you're the first one up, as once again you are covered in a layer of snow. As this is what seems to be happening around here.
Neva is up quite early, and in her good gear, basically.
Yep. You do hear a rolling thunder as you wake up, although there is no storm cloud in the sky. Like, it is bright and clear.
Well, I can't say I was expecting them to come exactly, but was Roscoe awake yet?
That's up to Roscoe.
Yeah, that's good. Medium riser. Probably getting there. Could be awake.
Oh, it is like 5:45 in the morning right now. Like, this is like crack of dawn.
Might be close. If it's more than one peal of thunder, thunder unexpected will wake me up.
Yeah, there is almost a call and response of it.
All right, yeah, then I'm up.
You'll find Neva in the kitchen making breakfast as usual.
Tessa's also in the kitchen. I think she's making scones this morning. That seems good.
Roscoe, I imagine you're hearing that, yes?
Mm-hmm. That sounds different.
Yes. It looks like we may not have to travel to the Storm Court. It appears that at least some of the Storm Court has traveled to us.
Okay.
Storm is part of summer?
Storm is part of Summer Court, yes. Think of when you have the most thunderstorms. And, Roscoe, you do not have to talk to them. You are not obligated to talk to them. You can if you want to. And I'm happy to help you with the introduction there, but no, they appear to have arrived, certainly, and I'll actually be heading over shortly because I do need to speak with various members of all of the different courts, given what we found out about this new threat.
As Neva says that, though, you hear a on the door.
Neva goes and opens the door.
Yep. Before you are one of the heralds of the spring, like the high spring court.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it is. They smile at you. You've seen them before, like running around doing business for them, and they hand you a like rolled up scroll.
Okay. I will open it and read it then and there.
Yep, you are immediately summoned to a audience with the Lord of the Spring Court and the Lady of the Spring Court, as they need your input on something. You are to come now, and
Okay.
and it is written that this is a Fey affair.
I will roll it up. I will go back to Neva and Roscoe and say, I apologize, but I need to leave and you cannot come with me. I need to speak to the Spring Court specifically. I would assume I will be back by the end of the day at the latest, but the Haven is safe. You should explore. And Roscoe, if you do choose to speak to the Storm Court, just mention to them, look for someone who looks like a hunter and mention my name to them. Alternately, ask Lord Ben or King Ben. Is he Lord or King, Deb?
King.
Ask King Ben to introduce you and name me in the process.
I'm gonna wait for when you're around. It'll keep. It's not a rush thing, but I'm gonna wait for when you're around to go with me, if that's all right.
As you wish.
Thank you.
And Neva heads off.
Yep. Neva heads off. The rest of you finish your breakfast. You can hear trumpets blaring, as there is now definitely a procession coming into this place, with definitely more of the higher ranking courts are coming.
There's a lot of hoopla going on for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of just want to
Well,
I want to go to the parade. That's all.
you definitely can. You all
Okay, great.
get dressed. You head there. As you can see, coming in the courts there's a lot of pageantry. It definitely is a show, as all of them are peacocking around a little bit. Although the one thing that Roscoe would notice is walking amongst them, kind of on his own, is this very tall figure, very tall, pristine Eladrin, wearing this spiked crown upon his brow that is just buzzing electricity through the different rungs of it. it's about 10 going all the way around, and there's this random circuit of electricity as they spark between the spires. And if you ask a random local, they'll tell you that this is the Lord of the Storm Spire, the head of the Storm Court.
Okay. So I kind of just watch him. I'd actually specifically like to, I'm watching him, but also any attendants, lesser members that give off Storm Court vibes. I want to watch how they are. Like, are they acting like subordinates that are scared, respectful, loving? I want to get a read on that.
They are in sort of procession mode, so there are there are guards with him, like soldiers that are very much like prim, rigid, up, marching. There are one or two of them that are moving with him, talking very casually. He's listening. He doesn't say much. He's definitely keeping up this regal visage. Although your inherent storm, like your storm sense, really starts to tingle pretty hard, as there is functionally an anomaly around here. There's somebody that's casting a real chaotic storm energy, and it's like pulling at you. They're not in the procession, though.
Is it pulling with enough kind of gravity that I could wander toward what feels like the literal eye of the storm?
Oh, in fact, you can, and you can sort of use like a storm spidey sense to kind of suss it out.
Yeah, I'll just kind of walk that way, try to get a sense of where this is coming from. That's interesting.
Okay. So sitting in, you follow it, right? It's sort of off the beaten path as your friends are watching, and you guys are free to follow if you'd like. You find one of the smaller cafes, and you find this, looks like a human woman, pretty short, not quite hobbit-sized, but a little bit taller, is sitting there with like 3 cups of coffee. 2 of them are dead, and she's working on a third.
None of you know how dangerous this is.
But she is just irradiating. She feels like lightning incarnate.
Are we all here?
You could most of you probably would have seen Roscoe eventually kind of move off. Thrax is certainly pretty perceptive, so he would have seen Roscoe and nudge Alvi, should we follow him? It's Roscoe, you're free to tell them to leave or to stay or to come with you.
I wouldn't have told people I was leaving, and I wouldn't have told people not to follow me.
So
probably would follow.
I just kind of wandered off.
Nod to Thrax and follow a little bit behind.
Yep.
Same.
Yeah. So keep an eye on giving Roscoe some distance. You find this one, and Roscoe, you are drawn to her, as again she is just something inside you tells you she is storm incarnate.
I'm sure you get this all the time. I'm so sorry. I'm a huge fan.
I don't actually, but thank you.
Sorry, Roscoe. No, that's a big deal. But if I'm reading the room right, I think I've seen a lot of your work. Storms are your storm. Oh my god, this is not how I saw this going. I'm super embarrassed.
Love this.
I mean, I do storm things, although not always on this plane, and usually not. I don't do the regular storms. That's they're their own. Storms are complicated. I mostly do lightning, with very specific reasons. You look slightly familiar, though.
Yeah, I do lightning sometimes for general reasons.
Is Mickey there as well?
So I'm off in the crowd. If you kind of look around a little bit, you might see me looking very excited. And also like
Also,
trying to not intervene.
yeah, make me a perception check, Idri. Because you met Nick once, and Nick has gone through some significant changes since you last met them.
15.
This woman looks shockingly like that young wizard you saw before, but you're not. This could be his sister, maybe.
Idri's like sees like the vague familiarity, and is mostly seeing like the red like cord around her wrist. Do you have a twin brother?
I kind of like bounce out of the crowd. I'm very excited to see Idri. Idri, oh my gosh, hi. I was Nick. I guess I'm Nikki now.
Okay. Hi, Nikki. You two were both at the what's it?
Are we gonna end up playing that? Roscoe the charlatan is just now doing the math on the prospects of pretending to have a twin brother. And that's overriding a lot of the interaction at the moment. But again, there's a lot of tabulating, a lot of buffering.
You thought I did like all of the storms. I don't do all the storms. I just do some of them very specifically and on purpose, but like not the whole storm, just the lightning part of it. The storms are their own. They're sentient. Well, some of them are. Some of them are offshoots of the sentient ones. The storms are complicated. That's why I just do lightning.
That's fair enough.
Although sometimes I
kind of like lean over and realize that there's been no actual introductions yet, and go Idri, Roscoe, Idri, Storm Fury, Roscoe, Storm Angel, son of daughter of, previously son of.
Hey, we're working on it.
It's complicated. It's fine. Yeah. I grew up with badgers.
I kind of elbow Roscoe and go, sorry.
Dude. Oh, wait. Also, what are the rules about dude? Dude, never had to consider it.
Dude is gender neutral.
Nikki gives a thumbs up and an affirming dude. Dude.
Right, is there sorry, is there something I can help you with? You thought
Sorry, no, I'm good. I'm just
Wait, so what's this about your dad being a storm angel?
Oh yeah, I always feel weird name dropping because he wasn't like a rock star, but we may have crossed paths with Barrick of the Plain of Saloon. He's a good dude.
Scoot, have I crossed paths with him?
You haven't seen this gentleman. You know that those types of angels exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have I encountered any of them, or did I just know their existence?
You would have come across one or two. They would have found you very interesting, and they would have gone like, when a fury bursts, they go check it out. They may not have interacted with you, but they're like, we need to know what's happening.
Yeah. I don't think I've met a Barrick, but I've also only met like one or two actual storm angels. Like I know there are more than one or two of them. I just only met one or two of them. My work has taken me all over the place, so I don't necessarily stay in one place long enough to meet them.
A fourth coffee is brought to Idri.
Yeah.
Please note Randall's face of heart.
That the audience cannot see.
I've played with Idri in other campaigns. I'm now like, if my character was there who knows her, she would step back just ever so slightly.
If you're the daughter of a storm angel, do you also do storm things?
Yeah, I've got some storm stuff. I mean, it feels inappropriate. We're in a cafe to just like rip off some lightning, but
please don't. They don't like it.
Yeah.
It's the wrong
Idris says that with the tone of knowing this from experience. Like you don't think that Idri would have to learn this from experience, but you get the feeling that Idri did. And at the time that she did it may not have been entirely intentional. You should talk to the Lord of the Stormspire. Like, so if you, like,
it's on.
if you're talking about like people who do storms or like not regulate storms, because storms aren't very biddable to regulation, but like in terms of people who work with them most often and know them and treat with them, he's it.
Yeah, it's on my list. To be honest, there's a friend of ours who's hopefully going to be helping with some of those introductions, and was kind of hoping to have them by my side when I cross that bridge. My dad is
Totally fair, but I can introduce you if you want. I mean, Nick was nice enough to me, so I don't mind introducing.
I don't know.
If
That's
you'd rather have your friend there, it's totally fine. Like I don't blame you for
yeah,
that feeling at all. Fine.
yeah. I
I froze.
I very much appreciate it. It's some of my dad has some history. He's not
History with a storm?
exactly in the best graces. History centered on a storm. My family's
Now
history
Adria looks
is
really intrigued.
divided kind of. Yeah, my dad's job was to take people of great importance to history and fate through storms. And through storms, he did a really great job, except for when he didn't. Now he is in exile. So, to be honest, I'm not sure who I can trust with the storms, because I don't necessarily believe it was a simple regular storm that my dad just messed up. I don't believe that. Something got worked, and I need to be cautious. That's kind of why I headed over to you, because I felt storm energy, but good energy. I don't know if you were putting that out there on purpose, but yeah.
Nick, I don't know, Nikki. I don't know that I entirely told you what I do exactly with storms. I mean, I'm a fury. You knew that part, but
That's pretty much as far as we got. Yeah.
yes, no. I'm a planes ward, and I guard passages between the planes. I ensure that things that don't belong on the mortal plane don't arrive there, and things that do belong on the mortal plane don't leave there. When appropriate, of course. You know, there are things that can, of course, travel to and from the mortal plane. But storms travel between the planes. There are winds and paths and currents that they follow. I mean, I suppose there are people who work with storms who lie and can do so, but the storms themselves don't. They can't. That's not a concept they have. A storm is straightforward. It might come up by surprise. You might not see the signs of it coming, but that doesn't mean that they weren't there. Storms don't lie. Storms are clear. So if you're not sure who you can trust around storms, you should talk to the storms themselves.
I had never considered that option.
Well, to be fair, most people can't talk to storms, so it's not a thing they tend to consider.
I guess that's an excuse for me, yeah, that I haven't ever talked to storms, or this is the first time I'm hearing of anyone talking to storms. That's why I didn't have it on my list.
People don't. I mean, some people get the sense that a storm has sentience, but most people never think about it, so totally not not out of the normal at all. But like, if you wanted, if you knew which storm you wanted to talk to, and they happen to be one that I could access relatively quickly, I suppose I could functionally translate. I mean, I'm not the only one who can. There are other Furies who also can, and the Lord of the Stormspire can as well, and he's able to bring storms to him. I mean, not like summon them. You don't you don't summon a storm to do your bidding, but like he can reach out to and or invite them, and they're more likely to come based on some of the things that he's set up around the spire to make it a place that a storm would like to go.
Well, that's already a huge. That's already a huge leap of where I might go next. I had always considered that there wasn't anyone who saw what happened, but if we can figure out which storm was there, Roscoe is like kind of again, it's like buffering day, both apparently for my internet and Roscoe, but it's like things are falling into place. This is very much like oh shit, I can talk to the storm. That's, oh god. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. Idri, was it? Idri. Oh my god, thank you.
You're welcome.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, there's I'm trying to think of the best way to do this. I suppose if you wanted to figure out what storm it is that you need to talk to, you could scry it, and either the Lord of the Stormspire, I might be able to recognize it, or you could talk to whatever storms are most readily available and see if any of them know, but like, I don't know, you need to give them as much information as possible, and their version of information is a little different than our version of information. Like, it's not just the sight of things, it's the smell and the taste and the sound of them, and there's a lot of storms that have crossed over a lot of seas with a lot of ships, so if there's anything that would make this one stand out, if there's anything that makes your father stand out in terms of the sense of him, or the look of him, or the behavior of him,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some thinking about how to winnow that down, but this is to be honest, my dad's been working it largely from the other side of things. He's just trying to make right what he messed up. I'm the one trying to get to the answer of why did it get messed up in the first place.
Oh, so you're the detective here.
Well, that makes this part a little hard to say, and this is the first lead I've ever gotten. So I guess as of right now, I'm the detective. Before I was an aspiring detective.
I hereby W a detective.
I feel it. I feel very detective.
Idri uses her coffee spoon, which has a lot of sugar crusted on it.
Yep.
At this time, Tessa, you're standing there kind of watching this as Pipit comes flying in and then bonks into you. It's like, oh. And then lands like right on your boob. The left one.
Oh.
And there's a note wrapped to Pipit's, like, around, there's a message wrapped on Pipit's legs.
I kind of like gently, scoop my hand
Boop.
under her.
Pipit is Kate? What is Pipit?
Yeah, Pipit's a dude.
His.
Him. His. So under him, and I carefully take off the little note, and what does it say?
It is a message from Neva. The business is going to take a lot longer than she thought. She may not see you for until tomorrow or the day after, possibly.
Okay. Tessa does relay this information. Once the conversation has stopped, she's not going to interrupt, but she'll kind of nudge Nick and Kiki, just to say we got some more time, no rush.
Okay. Says Kiki. She's just kind of looking at her notebook while people are chatting.
At some point, Idri does notice that you are drawing what is clearly a sketch of a bomb, and she's like, "Have you ever considered remotely detonating those with lightning?"
So Kiki at first, because she hasn't been introduced or anything, she kind of actually pulls her notebook away slightly, a little bit like, who are you, madam? Like, this little bit like, but then
Let me
she's
do a
How
quick
dare you?
perception.
How dare
Or
you?
is it
But then,
like super obvious?
But then she thinks about it and she's intrigued, so she kind of leans and she's like, say more. She's like,
I don't know what the range is like
Okay.
on you know, I mean, I've seen ones that are like timed in terms of when they go off, and I've seen ones that are like there's a trigger for them, but I've also seen the triggers not work before. And since it's, you know, it's explosive material in there, right? It's black powder or something else that explodes. If lightning struck it, I mean, you could do that then from quite a range. I mean, Nikki, I've seen you do lightning. You can get that full 120 feet or so.
Yeah, imagine like if you chain lightning a cart full of it. That would be a huge explosion.
Kiki starts sketching something with a lightning rod that leads into, like, she's trying to figure out, like, would it be motion, like with the energy transfer? So she's now like going down the rabbit hole with this design. She's very intrigued. Yeah, and she forgets to introduce herself because she's like, oh, and she like kind of nods approvingly, and then like just her beak's in her belt bar while she's doing
Adri finishes her 4th cup of coffee, is about to order a 5th, realizes she really shouldn't order a 5th, and regretfully does not order a 5th.
Character growth arc.
Yeah.
it.
I mean, like, somewhere in the back of her head, there's still like this 5 coffees per day limit that is artificially set by Jarvis. Which, like, despite the fact that she's not around Jarvis at all anymore, she still like limits herself to 5 coffees in a day, unless in the case of extreme emergencies.
Extreme emergency. It's a caffeine emergency.
Emergency. Look, if Shadowfell's invading, I'm having a 6th goddamn cup of coffee.
As you're
It's kind of
musing,
like a haste spell.
as you're musing with your new friends, Idri, one of the messengers of the Storm Court arrives, and he looks to you, and he bows his head to you, as of course you are an honored guest of this court. Hands you a slip of paper, and your presence is requested.
Just me, or can I bring people?
The messenger doesn't. We need you, Lady Fury. I suppose you could bring an entourage. He says, looking around at these other people he was unaware that you had come with.
Great, you guys want to be an entourage?
Yes.
Sure. Let's. You know what?
Kiki, she shrugs.
Thrax leans over to Tess and goes, "What's an entourage?"
I think it's... Isn't it like a big group that follows around a band or something?
I don't know.
Well, we've got nothing better to do.
You are led. You were led into like Castlehaven, the grounds where some of the more higher priority people tend to stay. Even further in than you were led. Not quite as into the main chambers that King Ben took you, but definitely sort of an offshoot. As you see, the Storm Court has laid out as they are one of the biggest courts here. And that same gentleman has taken off the crown. He's in a much more casual setting. He's not nearly as stiff and regal, but there is this constant sort of denseness in the air around him. Like, and you smell, if any of you are from the wilds like I am originally, you can smell rain about to happen. That sort of ozone-y, like... And Roscoe, you would know that smell incredibly well.
Yeah.
And he looks over as people are announced, and he gets up, and he's in these flowing robes. And he's all smiles as he looks at Idri, and he looks at this motley crew you've brought, and he goes, "I didn't know you were back with the Badgers."
I'm not. This is, well, some of them are folks that I've met, on another job. And honestly, we were in the midst of an interesting conversation that I didn't want to entirely lose track of, so I asked if they would come with me.
Wonderful. Well, I've had welcome all of you. Can I get you anything? A drink? Something to eat? Idri, would you like a cup of coffee, Idri? I know you're quite fond of it.
Thank you, but no. I've had 4 already. You don't want me to have a 5th.
He smiles. Tea, then.
I'm sure. Tea would be fine.
Okay. You are all seated. And he gets your names, and he goes, Idri, are these confidants of yours we can speak with?
Well,
Honestly, probably not. Nikki just kind of backs up from the conversation.
depends how sensitive it is what we're about to talk about.
Fairly, although his eyes are constantly lingering on Roscoe, as if he's sensing something from what are our pronouns right now? By the way, Will, are we doing
pronouns?
Yeah.
She, her.
She, her. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is he's lingering on her because you can. I mean, Idri, he's sensing what you sense. He's more evaluating Roscoe and her origins and her power. And he goes,
Well, if it's super sensitive, we can of course speak about it privately. That at your discretion.
Of course, that may be better. Now, what can I do for your friends? They seem lovely people. I'm very interested to learn about you, as you all look very mortal. Which is, you don't know if that's an insult or not. Like,
Yeah, Kiki looks down at herself, and she's just a little bit like, "Have I been insulted?"
Right. This is Nikki. I taught her how to do some lightning stuff. And
oh, a protege.
and no, just a one-off tutoring. And this is Roscoe. Her dad is a storm angel. And I'm very sorry, but I didn't actually get the other. I didn't get your names.
Kiki. Says Kiki.
Hi, I'm Tessa.
And Thrax goes, I'm Thrax. I'm the new guy. And the only guy. He says, looking around. Hello, all of you.
Yeah, also the old guy.
Not for long. Not for long. Just wait.
Storm Angel, and he takes like a very keen interest in you now, Roscoe. Please, who is your sire? He says, looking for a word, as if he doesn't know like which one, which parent it was.
My father was sorry, I'm a little nervous.
Oh, don't be afraid. I know I'm fabulous.
You know what's weird? That does make me feel better.
Levity can help that, he says, as he, invites you, as he chuckles at you, sipping tea.
My dad is Barrick, former Way Watcher for Saloon.
You see a look of recognition at the name, as if he knows who that is. He tries to hide it, but he's a little too tantalized by it.
He tries to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's interesting.
As if he knows it's that sort of thing of like, I know a secret.
I'm gonna see if Idri notices him trying to hide it or not.
Mm-hmm.
15.
Oh yeah, he rolled a 2, and his modifiers aren't that big.
He's too busy being fabulous to be sneaky.
Yeah. Also, storms aren't known for being sneaky.
Storms are not known for being sneaky. Idri's deception score is also shit. So, his dad, Roscoe, I don't know how much you want me to tell or not tell, but basically, I'd wanted to ask you about if we could maybe see about talking to a storm or two to find out a bit more about what happened to his dad. Do you know anything about him?
I've heard of a fallen angel with that name. And again, he very clearly knows more than he's telling you. But he's sort of reveling in the game. As Neva had warned you about the Fae.
I mean, well, first off, can you imagine the odds that there is another storm fallen angel named Barrack? It'd be even more question why he doesn't have a last name, actually, now that I think about it.
There are a great many things in this world and those beyond, Roscoe. Now, how long have you been in our realm? He says, and again, there's this big Cheshire smile, like, rippling across his face.
Roscoe starts to answer, like, just how old he is before realizing that he is not in the realm that he was born and raised in anymore, and kind of forgot that for a minute. Like,
I'm 22 days.
2 days. 2 days. I'm 20 days. 2 days. Just a couple days here, sir.
Okay. So you know of our preponderancy for pacts and dealings. I would hope.
I have heard tell.
So I believe I have information that would benefit you, but I would need something in return for it, of course. Something that could benefit me and mine.
What could I possibly offer to one so fabulous?
Oh, I mean, nothing for me, but something for and his head very clearly turns to Idri, for an associate of mine.
You don't know anybody named Dala by chance, do you?
Blue tiefling, lots of lightning.
Okay,
She's
I may
not-
need some more specifics. She's not the... Okay, then...
No,
okay, then
Idri
please.
is the associate of mine.
Wait, what are we doing for me?
It involves that other matter I was talking about. We had started talking about.
Yeah, right.
Hmm?
Am I getting some assistance then?
Possibly. They look able. Miss Kiki has some very interesting devices on her. I have a feeling they'll complement your style, he says.
Kiki protectively swings her satchel with her bomb slightly away from... She's feeling very protective. She's like, who are these people? And they're like, up in my business. So...
These people in Light of the Realm know about my bombs.
I know! She's gonna like, step off, people. But she's actually been flattery over because she's a little bit like, oh, I'm being noticed.
Yes, Roscoe. There's been a situation here in the wilds that I've asked that is involved with my associates' purpose, her general job, if you will. Mortal beings such as yourself have come and taken up residence in an old encampment, and they have items which they should not have even here in the Feywilds. They come from another place called Mechanicus. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
No, that wouldn't have been on Roscoe's radar.
No.
No.
No. They are... Deals, pacts, and accords are very important here, and these mortals have broken a major one, and they must be dealt with. So I was going to, give Idri the information she needs, but if you're willing to assist my dear Fury friend, I'll be happy to assist you.
I'm sorry, just to be clear, would this be getting in the way of... And she's kind of looking to Idri like, I did not mean to get in your business. I apologize if we're overstepping and kind of getting in the way now.
Oh, no, I mean, Rufus couldn't come with me anyway, so it'll be helpful to have more folks around.
And none of you know who Rufus is.
None of you have any idea who Rufus is, or what Idri is talking about.
Sounds
or why
good. Great.
the fact
Good.
that Rufus not being there means that you guys can help her.
Okay. And this accord is for the assisting of Idri in this singular matter.
Of course, you assist Idri in this matter, and I will assist you. But all I need to know before we strike the pact, the deal, if you will, is what exactly you would like. Would you like to talk to storms? Do you seek power?
Power I can seek for myself. The connections and the chance to get some answers about what happened that night with my father would be very much worth any service we can offer to you and to Idri today.
Could you, the storm do you remember when it happened? The storm that your father, the incident?
Yeah, I mean, Roscoe would have basically like a journal, and it's like if you were to pull it out, it's a small leather book. Looks really rough and worn, but you realize that maybe a quarter of the pages actually have anything on there. Like, this is obviously going to be my Harriet the Spy journal, and there just wasn't anything to put in it. There wasn't any new leads. There wasn't any information. So he's got a pretty good, like, the tidbits of where it happened, when it happened, what was going on, the cities the ship was going to and from that was lost in the storm that Barrack was supposed to be protecting. He's got a lot of those kind of like basic details about like the incident. So I share. I hand over the book. I share. This is what we've got so far. So I'd be looking to expand.
Yeah, he'll leaf through it and he goes, "This will be enough to get us started." And he hands it back to you, like, this is clearly your property. He goes, "So, Roscoe, do we have a deal?" And out extends the hand, and you can see as his, like, lightning is dancing on his fingertips.
Roscoe looks never actually shaken this hand before. Let's break her in.
Yeah. The rest of you hear a small thunderclap as Roscoe and the Lord of the Stormspire shake. And Roscoe, you feel this being's electricity come up and into your arm. And some magic has happened just now. Because you have made a deal with a very powerful fae. And he goes, "Excellent. Now, down to business." He snaps a finger, one of his attendants comes out and brings out a map of the wilds. He goes, "Idri, as I was saying, some mortals have gotten some large ideas. We don't know how, but they have acquired weapons from Mechanicus."
Who are they? Where are they from exactly?
We don't know. They are humans for the most part, but they are tampering with things they clearly don't understand. These are not from the higher astral circle. They are from the mortal plane. Something gave these things to these beings and let them here, and they have come to the wilds to test and train, we believe. But we are no one's proving ground, he says to you, and there is as he says that, a bit of a roll of thunder as he's become agitated. The Hunts have offered to go out to deal with these interlopers. However, I informed the Summer Court that I had a friend that might be better suited for this particular matter given the circumstances and what's here.
Given that the circumstance involves an infringement of the Accords and cross-plane travel, I believe it falls firmly within my jurisdiction. Idri, as she says this, it sounds like this is something that she has literally practiced saying to sound official more than once. Because it doesn't sound like normal Idri talking. But she sounds very official when she says it.
He leans into it and goes, "It's sounding better. Very good." He gives you the location of where they are, and he says, "If you you have backup." He says, pointing at least Roscoe. I don't know about the rest of you.
Well, the rest of you are certainly welcome to come.
Well, we shouldn't just leave Neva here.
Should
though.
probably check with Neva, but sounds fun.
We should at least tell her where we're going. Where are we going?
Who's Neva?
Oh, she's a friend of ours. She has some business here, and party's not quite complete without her. But
Kiki goes, "Mom friend." Kind of like a boss.
Oh, that's their Satara, dear, I think.
Okay.
They've met Satara.
Yeah, he knows Satara.
Yeah, we all
we're
perk up when he mentions
right now.
that.
And Satara seems super
We can-
different from me.
I mean, we can get her on the way.
well, I think she's busy for the rest of the day. But is Pippin still there?
He left once he delivered the message.
Oh, damn.
I
We've got
can
our
send her a
slap-
message.
We got our. Don't we have our slap rates list now?
You do. You
Slap
have
chat.
you have your
We all have our
Snapchat.
slap
Slapchat.
bracelets.
Slapchat.
Oh shit.
Slapchat.
Okay.
Slapchat.
Ah,
All right, so
okay.
just tell her where we're going. No problem.
Is Slapchat an audible thing, or is it like a telepathy thing?
It's a telepathy thing.
Okay, perfect.
Slapchat.
I'll just Slapchat Neva and be like, "Hey,
Roscoe made a deal.
Don't be mad.
I'm not gonna say that. No, I'll probably say that. Roscoe made a deal. Please don't be
BRB,
mad.
Roscoe made a deal. Gotta go do something.
This is the babysitter calling mom, being like, "First, let me say that everything is
Everything is
fine."
fine.
Yes, actually, that's a great
Nick-
idea.
Nikki, this is your first. This is your first chance to say, "Gotta go do hot girl shit."
Oh my gosh, we're with Idri too. Poor Thrax. He's so confused.
He's just eating
Um,
popcorn and like feeding Bosco popcorn. He stopped listening. He's
Okay,
just gonna go
that
with
works
it.
out. Yeah, Slapchat Neva be like, everything's fine. Roscoe made a deal with the Stormlord for information about his dad. Is there a word limit on Slapchat, by the way? DM?
No, you're
Okay.
in combat. There would be, but you can
Got it.
freely talk back and forth.
Okay.
Roaming rates might apply.
Yeah.
He's asked us to go help Idri with a thing.
Would Neva know who Idri is?
No, not well enough at this point.
Nikki would not initially explain because she assumes that Neva just knows anyone who has any importance anywhere.
So Neva will respond with, of everyone you could have made a deal with, the Stormlord is probably the least bad option. And storms are relatively straightforward, and so is he. Who's Idri, and what are you doing with her?
She's the Storm Fury who helped me with the lightning spell after the security gig.
Oh. Well, that might not be too terrible then. What have you agreed to do?
I'm not 100%.
Do something.
There was none insight check rolls. We have
No small print was looked at.
Nope.
That's
Roscoe
pretty on
Folks,
brand.
made
we're
a deal.
breaking a
We
deal,
have
and
to-
Idri seems confident that it's a good idea to go fight them or something.
Kiki hasn't signed in.
Sorry,
She'll
did you
go
say the part
off.
about the weapons from Mechanicus to Neva, or no?
Oh yeah, I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll point that out.
There are weapons from Mechanicus on the plane?
Would Nikki have any idea what a Mechanicus is?
So have you studied like divination and the stars at all, Nikki?
Barely enough to get my degree, probably.
Right.
So
roll
yes,
me,
but not like past the 201 level.
right. Roll me a history or arcana check, real quick.
Okay.
Roll it, shit, see what happens.
Is this
Or
the
either
first
way.
roll of the game?
I believe so.
It
The
is
session.
I rolled a
18
couple.
total.
Wow.
Sorry.
Oh, you did? Okay.
The first, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah, so
18 total.
Nikki knows that, Nikki's heard of Mechanicus. It is a plane in the astral sea, which is sort of where when
Okay.
people die, that's where they go.
Oh.
It is a sort of magical automaton land where a lot of things are made, but that's all you can sort of recall.
That checks out. I'm sure we did a discussion of, here, memorize these 50 planes for next Tuesday's exam, and then never mention them again. Draw the line, Mechanicus, automaton. The Stormlord mentioned weapons from Mechanicus. Is that particularly bad?
They can be particularly bad in terms of their degree of power. Are there automatons wielding them?
Probably. I don't know. The Stormlord said that the
He said it was
Oathbreakers were
humans.
given. It was humans that were
Humans are
given
wielding
these
them.
weapons.
Yep.
That's better. I mean,
Is it really?
it's better
Yeah.
than it's better than people who know how to use them wielding them, which is what Neva's thinking right now.
Is it really?
No, look,
Humans are fine with weapons. I don't know what you're talking about.
you've agreed
I've
to
been
do
a
this
human all
thing.
my life.
You've agreed to do this thing, and therefore you have to do this thing.
Well, Roscoe agreed to do it. No one else shook the guy's hand.
Yeah,
that's not what Nick
Roscoe
explained to her.
agreed,
Nick
but
did
we
not
wanna-
explain. He said we made a pact.
Well, I think I said Roscoe made a pact.
You did say
Okay.
Roscoe
I'm
made a
not.
pact.
I'm not certain. But
Well,
when you
so-
say that, I would certainly jump in and be like, Roscoe did the thing, but we kind of gotta help her.
Yeah, so Roscoe is the only one of you required by this pact now. Well, Roscoe conceded the right to the information by not doing this thing, but he will then never be able to get that particular information from the Stormlord because the deal by which he would have received it has passed. So I know this information is important to Roscoe. If the Stormlord trusts that Idri is capable of handling this, then you should not let Roscoe go alone, but it should be feasible. He doesn't say safe,
Yeah.
because it's not going to be safe. But her math is basically right now like, look, Roscoe has to go. It is a far better idea for Roscoe to go with allies than without.
Okay.
I would help you if I could, but I cannot leave.
Totally understood. Idri, Stormlord, this is vocally. Do you know how long we would be gone? Mom says we can go if we're home by midnight.
And the Lord looks at you and goes, well, I can get you there and back very quickly, but it just depends on how long it takes you to dispatch what's there. You folks are to, Idri, you are to leave, of course, nothing intact.
Idri looks delighted by this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will be able to get you there, of course, fairly quickly. You might say, in a flash, and he smiles.
Somewhere the
Nate-
god of pun groans.
He grows more powerful.
He grows
Nikki
more
looks
powerful.
pleased.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't grow more powerful. He groans more powerful.
Why not both?
Okay, yeah. Seems fine.
What could
I slap
possibly
chat.
go wrong?
Not sure how long we'll be gone. We'll keep in touch.
Thinking of you.
Please do. And just in case, I'm going to send Pivot to you. He keeps talking about Tessa's comfy pillows, which I'm fairly certain he means her boobs. But If something goes wrong and you can't reach me by this, send Pivot.
Sounds like a plan.
Wonderful.
I give a thumbs up to the Stormlord. We're in. I guess to Idri. Stormlord doesn't care.
Yeah, so he says...
He cares a little.
Stormlord doesn't give a Stormlord doesn't give a
Stormlord's got other shit to
Just
do.
do-
He's got to go watch a drama unfold about a tree. That's what's on his itinerary today.
Just go do the thing.
Yeah, wonderful. Then if you would all meet me at the top of the spire, please. And he gets up to like the highest point in this building.
We follow, I assume.
Mhm.
I follow.
You follow? I mean, Roscoe is pretty much compelled to follow.
Oh yeah, I'm on board.
And he says, Idri, please take their hands. This is going to be jarring for them.
Yes, rather. Kiki, are your bombs secured?
Kiki pats her bag a little bit and actually looks mildly offended, like would my bombs not be secure? Like it's just like secure for
Please
what?
keep all bombs and legs inside the Kumbaya circle at all times.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes. And she's
Good.
like,
Take the hand of the person next to you, please. And so Idri will be in the middle so that she can grab two people, so that she's got the best chance of keeping them where they're supposed to be. She grabs Tessa's hand because she figures Tessa can grab onto somebody else pretty well, and she grabs Nikki's hand because she's worked with Nikki very briefly before.
Okay, everyone links up. He takes a big breath as you see him begin to gather energy to him. And Roscoe, you immediately smell that ozone just quickly rise, as like right before a sun shower. And then there is this flash and cacophonous boom as you folks find yourselves transported, as you are functionally riding lightning at the moment. And you are intraplanar yeeted. You're yeeted to a different part of the current plane. So sort of a teleportation.
You're within the same plane.
Yeah. And you find yourselves on the map in Roll20. So what you see before you is what was once sort of a ring fort, probably for some Fey operation, an outpost that has been shored up by very clearly human architecture. There are scads of humans walking around with very odd devices. Some of them look like tricked out axes. Some of them are these long barreled pikes but have this tube on the front of them. Kiki, you would know some of these they look like rifles, and like black powder guns, pistols and things like that, which you know are like not a joke. Like these things, if they hit you, will hurt, and some of them are probably high powered enough to potentially pierce Tessa's armor. But Idri, there are just so many of them. Like they're just roaming around, and they have also felled trees in this forest, and you can tell you're in Summerlands right now, and the Summer Fae are not super keen on this level of like deforestation. Like, you know, some trees get cut down and used. Like it's not like a sacrilege, but they are just clear cutting, and people will be pissed about that.
So this seems like rather more than just they're here to test their weapons. They are here to set up a training grounds to make an encampment and to maintain their space.
Mm-hmm. You also feel Shadowfell energy coming from inside the camp.
Of course.
You see small sparks kind of just winding their way through Idri's hair. None of you have any idea what this means. Because none of you know her. Scoot, are the
Yes.
people that I can see wearing metal?
Oh, many of them are in not full plate armor. So for the sake of the audience, there is this ring fort that is built up on old stonework. Outside of what was the main gate is a palisade wall with some reinforcements, and this is just basically a military camp. You can hear the clanking of anvils, the neighing of horses. Most of these people, Idri, have some level of metal armor on. Again, not a lot in chain. No one's in full plate per se. Some of them are in like a gambeson, but there's definitely metal reinforcings inside the cloth. Yeah, and there's just like, it is for you folks, a shitload of people. Like, there's a lot of people there.
I'm just like, we might be in over our heads here. There's only so many dudes I can take at once.
Well, we can
I thought you were an Aloran, Tessa.
we can certainly call in the reinforcements of the summer court. This does seem to be rather more than what was originally described, but I would prefer to not leave these intruders unmonitored. There's fell energy here.
Yep, and I would like everyone to roll me perception checks, please.
Perception.
18 for Tessa, nice.
Scoot, I can't click my icon.
I will give you control of it.
Yeah. 28 for Idri.
9.
20.
Idri pays attention. So y'all should also know that Idri massively outlevels all of you.
17. That's true. Yeah, 17 for Kiki.
So, everyone but probably Roscoe, who is still... You're humming from whatever this Lord of the Stormspire did, Roscoe. Like, his magic...
With a 20?
Oh, sorry, who got the 9? Right, Nikki.
That was Nikki.
Sorry.
I'm in game mode, buddy.
Yeah, you're all hyped up.
This is helping. This is centering me.
Absolutely.
I'm a fighter.
Nikki, you're a little jar because you have not traveled interplanetally like that before. That's a new feeling. You're noticing a lot of these people that are on the Rampart soldiers don't look like disciplined soldiers, right? They're not trained. These aren't veterans like who would be Tessa with your 18. These look like very raw green recruits, like they were pulled from somewhere. Idri, these are like Idri and Roscoe. You're looking at them, they are like not probably well versed in combat. Like, these are definitely mooks. Like Kiki, you notice with the 17, one of them takes a gun and looks straight into the barrel. And then puts it back down.
Kiki has to
Even Nikki looks disappointed.
Kiki has to muffle like a cry of like concern and horror, just like,
yeah,
it's like violating a safety rule.
Straight into the barrel. You get the feeling though, Idri, that a lot of these people are probably chaffed. Like, these are mooks, not very.
But basically, they're the chaff that will blow through in the process of getting to where this Shadowfell energy I'm sensing is coming from.
Idri definitely will. You don't know about the others, but Idri definitely will. Like, you will murder them with lightning without much hesitation. Now, there's definitely some bigger bads somewhere in the camp that are going to take a bit more to do. But you think even with your people, these folks with you, their skills, they will cut through these green recruits very easily. However, the Lord of the Stormspire said, no one leaves here. This incursion needs to be paid for.
Right, we just kill all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so we are supposed to kill them all?
Yeah, these people are trespassing on many different levels, and he said this whole place needs to be burnt.
Okay, the place needing to be burnt.
Serious punishment.
That's different than everybody dies. Like, destroying all the equipment and stuff is one thing, and then like kill dumb fucks is another. So, and Kiki's under no bond to this dude.
Oh no, only
whatsoever.
Roscoe is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roscoe's under a bond to
Kiki's
take out
gonna
these
stand there and watch me finish them off one at a time with my spear when I got no spell slots left. Just thanks, Kiki. I'll just slowly kill these people. You made it much better, right?
You're doing amazing, sweetie.
I don't know. This seems kind of weird. I mean, these look like just new recruits. I don't think they've done anything wrong. Can we just knock them out?
So Scoot, did he say that none of them leave alive, or none of the stuff can remain intact?
Both. This place needs to be razed, and these people need to be dealt with, which he didn't expressly say to kill them all. But you know his tone.
He's Fae.
Yeah, he's Fae. So Idri would know his tone, and the inference of that is they all die. Now he didn't expressly say that though. That is not the lettering of the pact he made with Roscoe. Roscoe's job is to aid Idri.
So Idri would there are two things of concern here. One, this place is infested by Shadowfell energy. There is enough of it that this must be raised for that energy to be dissipated. And two, they have invaded this plane. That is an act of war. If you are uncomfortable with acting in response to that, I understand and will not force you to do so. I, however, intend to bring this place to the ground and everyone in it. That is my duty.
Roscoe kind of does a little neck crack that you have seen as his somatic component for casting mage armor. And you notice that the armor has changed.
Does it now have does it have boob armor now?
It's not necessarily like boob armor.
There is a
but
small
you do realize
though.
There is, it's exactly the
Boob
same. It's just
window.
dad's with like a rough boob window. It is
Making Deb proud.
like where his dad's armor was definitely very bulky looking on him, on Boy Roscoe, and was more golden. This is more like a white light tracing out the lines of the armor, and it is giving you very strong traditional Valkyrie vibes. Like you are getting avenging Norse angel from Roscoe right now. And we'll play with the Valkyrie idea later. But for right now, Roscoe just says, I made the deal. I'm in. And just kind of starts like pulling the spear around, stretching out a little bit.
How about the rest of you? How do you feel about this?
Kiki's looking at everyone like they're fucking nuts. Because she's basically like, I don't know she's like, I don't know this, I don't know the Feywild. She's like, I don't know the Stormlord, and I don't know these people dead. Like, she'll say that if people ask, but she's like, and
Like,
this is like shit ton of people.
I don't think it's fair to kill people who just got like recruited in for this. We should at least give them the chance to go back to their plane. I mean, do they know what they signed up for? I mean, if there's legit evil in there and like some Shadowfell beings, yeah, sure. But I have a serious problem with killing all these low-level recruits.
Niggy?
Yeah, pretty much with Tessa on this one. Like, if they knew what they were getting into, then sure, but we don't. It's not obvious, at least from what we can see here, that they know that they're being shitty.
I'm sorry, are you suggesting that creatures are incapable of recognizing that when they take large, powerful weapons to a plane that is not theirs, they're doing something that is an act of war?
They may have been coerced, or
I mean, sure, the
proxy.
management does, but like the
do the tech support people know what's going on?
I kind of nod up at like the guy on the wall who's looking into his gun. You really think he's capable of making decisions for himself?
That's
appears to have made a decision to join them.
Fair.
Thrax ponders for a moment, and he goes over to Idri and goes, would you... I have an idea, everyone. It's probably crazy. Idri, would you let us go into the camp and, like, you know, pretend to be recruits or something and let us see about these people?
You mean to determine if they are acting out of ignorance or malice?
He thinks there's a line in the sands of Shantha of, you know, if you stand in quicksand, you're an idiot and you get the, you know, comeuppance. However, if you're pushed in, you should be pulled out. Can you send, if they were pushed in, could you send them somewhere else?
Yes. But I can only do it once. So if we're going to do that, they'd need to be all together.
I think they should at least have the choice.
I will give you... She looks down at... Well, there was not a watch. Just looked down at her wrist like if there was a watch.
An electric
I'll give you
watch.
10 minutes.
Cake or death.
After that, I enter. And as Roscoe has agreed, assistance will be required.
Roscoe makes no move to go join folks on the
Thrax takes a deep
intelligence
breath.
gathering trip.
And if there are those among them that would willingly leave, they must lay down their weapons, gather here, and she points to a random patch of forest, and sit literally on their hands until we've dealt with the fell energy.
Question, Thrax asks.
Yes.
So if things start and they surrender, what will you do?
If they surrender and do as they are told, pointing to the patch of area again, then when all is done, I'll send them to the courts for justice.
Okay.
If once they've surrendered, they take up arms again, they die.
Well, that's just jumping back in the quicksand, which is fucking stupid, Thrax says. Like, that's just dumb.
I think this is a reasonable compromise.
Okay.
Seems good.
So Thrax takes a deep breath, looks at the group, and begins walking towards the encampment.
I'm gonna go
Does
with
he
them.
have a slap bracelet?
He does.
Okay.
Oh, he does.
Is anyone else going?
I'm
Oh,
going.
Kiki
My
will go with
charisma's actually pretty high.
Okay. So you head... Is anyone else going? So Roscoe is staying. Idri is staying. Is Nikki going or staying?
Nikki's gonna stay. Nikki's not known for her feats of deception.
Okay.
Oh, you know what, Scoot? I'm gonna pop on my detect good and evil.
Okay. So you pop that out as you come up to the...
That is a 30 feet radius, so I'll get that updated.
Yeah, so you folks head to the main gate, which is sort of around the bend, and Thrax walks up, and you can see there's a lot of humans, kind of together, and they just look down and they're kind of yelling at Tessa like, "Oi, fuck are you?"
I'm the new recruit, sir.
He looks over and he goes, "Oh, she's fucking big," and he's like, "Yeah." And it's the one that's looking
Exactly.
in the one that's looking in the gun is still looking in the gun and trying to. He's acting like it's a oh, what do they call it when you sail and the spyglass.
Spyglass.
And he's like, "Tiefling ahoy!" And everyone's like, "Dave, shut the fuck up! Like, come on, man."
Dave dies. No matter what else happens, Dave dies.
From my aura, am I picking anything up from these mooks?
So you're getting a real mix of things. Some of them are genuinely bad. You're getting a lot of malice from some of them. They are very excited to be here. Some
They
right.
mark them for death.
Some are. You don't get the same thing. Like, you're not picking up a lot of necessarily, like, good, quote-unquote, but you get a lot of just... Tessa would know it as non-maleficence. Like, they don't mean exceptional harm. They've definitely come... And from your... make an insight check, actually. Yeah, make an insight check.
19.
So, they are... With the 19, kind of looking at them and having, dealt in your recent history with a lot of the Tory... the displaced and exiled Tory from the north of Doshnaral. Some of them are trying to eat. Some of them are just trying to be in a different spot. Some of them probably got brought here maybe as a friend of one of the assholes. But as you move into the main gate and kind of the outer layer of the fort, you're getting a probably 60-40 mixture of genuine jackass and we'll call it potential surrenders.
Okay, I'm going to relay this via telepathic message with the slap bracelet to the rest of the group of what I'm picking up.
It's on Slapchat. Please use the phrase we've TM'd on Slapchat. We're going to trademark that. So eventually, a very gruff sergeant comes to greet all of you. He's pretty scarred, scruggly look to him. He comes out and he just punches one of the recruits. Screams at him to stand up and get on guard. He runs away and just sort of looks you up. You are taller than him, though. Like, you're a big lady. And he goes, "Fuck you want?"
To me?
Yeah.
In particular?
Yeah. He's squared up to you. He's definitely trying to intimidate you, but you are noticeably larger than him.
I gotta cross my arms and just look down, and I say, "I'm here to defend."
Defend
Do you want
what?
me to roll an intimidation
Yeah,
check?
roll an intimidation check.
Oh, 12.
How
I'm gonna
tall
look
is-
that, actually.
How tall is Thrak?
Thrax is like a lanky, in the neighborhood of 6 feet, because he's a little shorter than Tessa. How tall is Tessa?
6'3".
Yeah, he's probably like a 5'11", maybe 6 on a good day.
I just picture Tessa's this tall tiefling with horns and wings. Thrax, this lanky tiefling wing, and then little Kiki. It's yeah, we're here. We're enjoying your army.
I used the luck, so I got a 20 on intimidation.
You beat him, and he's like, "Whoa, you one of them? You one of them northern demons?"
Yeah.
Yeah, you're from Bori or whatever, right?
Is he referring to Antara?
He's butchering. He has no clue where that is,
Okay.
really, but he's heard of it. Yeah.
You mean Antara?
Yeah. Yeah. No, we got one of your bigwigs up at the house.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I'm filing that away in my head for later.
We're next to that cupcake recipe.
And how to get out of a closet in an emergency.
That's in the back burner. That's the very back of her mind. She's not going to need that.
Yeah, no. We've seen you lie. You're very resistant to fire, which is good because we got a lot of cool stuff in here. Come on, we'll get y'all signed up. I'm
getting bad vibes from him, though, right?
Yeah, no, he's an asshole. He's
right.
definitely a dick. And the people further in the inner keep, there is nothing but bad mojo coming from in there.
So all of this in here.
Yeah, that is probably where they have the new guys out here. They have the proven veterans in there, or at least the guys that have committed to the cause.
I will also relay that information that the inner structure is all baddies, and the outer ring is roughly about 60-40.
Yeah, so he sits you down and he goes, "All right, what's your name?"
She's not going to give her real name. Shit.
Acid.
Wait,
your name backward is just Acid.
Acid. My name is Acid.
Oh.
Nice. Hardcore.
Not that I totally know how, but spell that.
ACID.
Okay. Are you like a one-name person or like...
Yes.
Alright, how about you? And he points to Thrax, and he's like... Bay... Blade.
Beyblade.
No.
And sit down. And then
Yes.
he looks at Kiki, he goes, what about you there, short stuff?
Kiki puts her hand on one of her hips and she goes, "Boom, boom, McCracken." That's her code name. She's very proud
Oh my
of
god. I almost didn't breathe for a second there.
That's a point of inspiration to Randall. He writes boom, takes some comments, he goes, so like when you say Kraken, like are you like them sea critters or are you like
So Kiki's trying to get in character, so she spits off to the side, which is really interesting to see a bird do it because she doesn't actually have lips. Yeah. She's like, yeah, that's right.
She's gonna like baby.
It's all in the tongue, right?
ha?
Yeah, that's right.
You like make a like donut with your tongue.
Yeah.
Alright then. Alright, cool. We'll get you some weapons, we'll get you some good stuff. We had it stolen here. We just need you to sign this totally fine contract, and he turns and gives it to you. It is demonic. Like it is unabashedly demonic.
Through the slap
chat.
race.
Mhm.
Yes. Kiki will be like, "Time's ticking." She'll say to the well, everyone can hear who has the bracelets, but she really is focusing it on like, Tessa and just like we don't have time to go. Like, not only do we not want to sign this, but basically like time's ticking. So she's like,
If you sign
So
a
quickly-
demonic contract with a fake name, does that count?
It would,
I'm asking
Kiki's like, "What's our move?" Yeah, no, but that's
so
All right,
you
the
like
move is we need to find a way to
When I
get
hear
you-
time's ticking, I'm gonna elbow Adrian and say, "Oh shit, let's go."
oh, no. You can interpret that however.
Are you going? That's what you're gonna do.
If you say, "Oh shit, let's go," Idri's going.
I don't know
It
why
might
you
not
do
be
that
bad to have a distraction to draw the people's attention, and then maybe we can go in and try to find the ones that are of the less evil persuasion and try to convince them to leave. Like, hey, this shit's about to go down. You should really like go over here.
Well,
I mean,
great, because the people outside think that a time bomb just got flipped on.
Yeah, I kind of think so.
Oh,
like
I get
Kiki
it,
said,
I get
time's
it now.
ticking, and is like freaking out a little bit.
She meant to, yeah. That's funny. Well, if you thought the like, "Oh shit, let's go," she'll be like, "No, 10 minutes." Like, because we can all hear this if it's all through the
Yeah,
bracelet.
we can all hear it.
Yeah,
Like, your time
yeah.
is
Like, no.
running low now. Like
Yeah, that's what she means. Like, we don't have time for all this. Like, so she's like to Tessa, like, take him out. Like,
Oh, just
she
like right now.
well, I don't know. Like, Kiki's a little like where she's like, put to sleep. Like, I don't know. Like, because if we blow up the fucking boss, you know, people are gonna, you know.
you're
Very deliberate,
you're in a tent, by the way, right now.
Shit.
Oh,
I
it's
turned back to Adrian, like, wait. She said 10 minutes.
Can I cast command on him and have him just walk
Oh.
away?
You could.
He needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, don't worry.
Let's
He rolled a 3 on the
get
dice, and he's not. If you
Bob
couldn't tell,
is-
not very wise. So he just stands
So-
up and just walks out of the tent.
There's an option called flee. It says the target spends its turn moving away from you by the fastest means available.
So he just books it out of there, just booking it. Sprints out.
Which direction does he run?
out of the
Does
tent
he
flap.
leave the camp?
Yeah.
Away.
Okay.
He's too far in the camp to run out of it, but everyone just kind of sees him like like running away in a panic. Tessa knows that's only going to last for so long before he's going to regain his composure.
Okay. So we need to start like, I guess, trying to get. So I know which ones are quote okay. right?
Yeah, you know. You have a
Mark them?
rough idea, yeah.
Oh, Kiki's got an idea. She's like, Tessa, you invite the good ones in tent. Yes? And then
Yes.
Kiki lets you know that she's like, yeah, so do that. Because then we can, like, tell them where to go real quick.
That's a good idea. Can I like tell Kiki and Thrax which ones are the good ones and have them just pull and be like, hey, the sergeant wants to have a meeting with you guys.
Yep.
You don't have that time.
Special.
You don't have the time. Like, they are all around. Like, you don't. There's not a row of them. Like, they are scattered throughout, and that guy is going to probably turn back around in another like couple of seconds.
Shit.
Kiki just says, pick 5. Let's just save it.
We saved 5. That's
Seriously,
fine.
Kiki's-
Yeah.
Save as
Alright.
many
Numbers down.
lives as you
As
can.
many as we can then, within the time restriction. Or, like I said, we
TikTok,
can do it
motherfuckers. The time's going.
Let's just go up to them individually and be like, now's the time to leave. If you want out of this shit, and then tell them where to go. I just need her to point.
Yeah.
Right, so, like, Tessa, you also know, like, you could probably pick up 1 or 2 and get them outside of the walls. Thrax can probably carry another, if you want to fly them away.
We'll just like take as many as we can then.
Okay,
It's in the short amount of time that we have.
so you quickly get out, you go up to the first, like, pack, you find a couple of them. Roll me
I'm actually gonna just shout it. Fuck it. I'm just gonna shout it with
Yeah.
thaumaturgy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, shit's about to go down. If you want to live, leave.
Drop your weapons and leave.
Drop your weapons and leave.
That gets everyone's attention. No one makes a move,
It was a
though.
Titan.
Yeah, no one makes a move. Everyone's like, what the fuck's happening?
So that's loud enough to get Idri's attention as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you hear a deafening crack of thunder. And Idri flies over the. She basically is like she's hovering right over the wall right now, like where these mooks are.
It's right over one of the parapets. She just raises up Storm-style X-Men.
So there are currently gale force winds going around her.
Yeah.
So like, if they're
Hell
going to be
yeah.
dumbasses about it, they might literally get blown off right now.
So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna say like, look, lay your weapons down, surrender, go to the trees, or this.
so you see... Hang on. You see roughly... Some of them just fuck off. Like, they jump the wall and make for the tree line. About... Out of the maybe 10, 20 that are in this immediate area, about 7, we'll say, abandon post and just run for the trees and scatter.
That's not what I wanted them to do, but okay. That's enough.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is you hear other sounds coming from the trees.
You're trespassing on Summerlands.
Yeah, and you can see Ents and other sort of wooden creatures come and bind the ones that are in the trees and have held them captive.
Okay, bind is okay.
Yeah, that works great,
So,
actually.
well, maybe. Roscoe and Nikki, you see that one of them is being squeezed to death. Like, the tree is trying to pop him like a water balloon.
They're being
I'll just-
bound with their own.
I'll just
entrails.
holler, like, can you guys just hold on to them?
Persuasion check.
It's not gonna work, but I'll do my darndest. That's
With
a 4.
I think it went really well.
Christ.
So the Ent just looks at you and squeezes them harder. And he's like, ah! You can see he's going to die very quickly unless one of you do something.
Kiki will try.
You are too far away, Kiki. You are in the middle of the
Oh,
camp.
You can't see that.
Roscoe, do you want to...
Oh, you're right. Sorry, I forgot you're at
Yep.
the edge.
Roscoe moves toward. He just walks up to the gate. I'm gonna start walking through. I'm gonna step in the,
Well, that's happening.
I think those ones aren't actually bad, they're just stupid. And I follow Roscoe in.
Make me another persuasion check.
I don't know what else. I can't fight a fucking Ent. Like, a 13?
Fight them with words.
It's less bad than a 4?
It's hesitating as it's sort of looking at him. And again, it's like a squeak toy in this thing's hand. And you see it looks as if it recognizes Idri. And it's just sort of staring at her, waiting to see if there's some sort of confirmation. The others have stopped squeezing the captives for a moment. Like, a message definitely went out. to like hold on a second.
Save them for the Stormlord.
Okay. One of them just whaps one of them on the ground. He goes limp and unconscious, and they now
God.
just he's bones are broken, but he will probably live as they get pulled deeper into the darkness of the woods to be held, probably.
Just a heads up, we are at almost 11 o'clock, and I do have to be at work at 7 tomorrow.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think we're going to stop here for tonight, and with that lovely image, and figure out what's going to happen with this whole burn down the camp situation next week. So thank you, everyone, for coming
burn down a fucking camp.
Probably. And we will see what kind of fun weapons these guys have in store. So thank you all once again for joining us in Raya, and we hopefully will see you next week.